So in this video, we're going to look at creating your content backwards and why you should do it. So why do you need to do this? Remember this creature? Still need to ask? Creating content backwards is probably the easiest way to ensure consistency and focus in the content you're creating. And if you have consistency and focus, then you're going to have much better conversion rates and response to the content that you've created. So let's have a look at this example. This is ancestry.com, and I'm going to use this as this content as our example. Now this is a real content that I found that's online. It's a very successful native advert for the website ancestry.com. I found it inside our database, native adbuzz tool that I've mentioned before, and I'm sure we'll explain what it is later on. It's a very useful tool, and this is a great example of a native advert. So let's have a look. Number one, start with your why. What's your purpose? Now, we touched on this in the previous one. Always start with what you want people to do. This means that you'll be able to maintain that focus throughout the entire rest of your writing. It means that you can keep that in mind so that you'll end up with content which points in the right direction. Otherwise, it can become easily incongruent and confused. So in our example here on ancestry.com, the purpose was to get people to sign up for a 14-day trial. You can see above the fold on the image on the right hand side the green button, and then on the left hand side you can see the green button enlarged. So after you've decided what your purpose is, you need to pick suitable calls to action. Let's have a look at the ancestry.com example. Now you can see that there's actually 3 calls to action in the text. There's a link, the top one in the first paragraph, which says trace your family tree on Ancestry, which is a brilliant in-article native ad for signing up actually. Very well integrated into the article. It also appears above the fold, as does the button below it, which is the green button which says 14-day free trial, give me access. Now this is fantastic to have those 2 calls to actions above the fold, so that even if someone reads just the first paragraph, they still have the option and the opportunity, they can still see where they can take it. And then at the very bottom of the page there's another call to action which says discover your family story, start a free trial, which is a link above the button which says start a free trial. So in that page there's 3 calls to action, and one of them is inserted within the paragraph itself. It's a very natural process, and all of them point in the same direction. They point towards having that 14-day free trial. So after you've picked your purpose and chosen your calls to action, what's the value that you can offer? Well, let's have a look. In this particular article, the value is about the 4 common types of surnames of German origin. So it really calls out to anybody who's interested in their surname and their family tree, and to be honest, a large proportion of the population are interested in this type of thing in their family tree and their ancestors and what have you. And there's another piece of value actually in just below the first fold of the page. There's a search box which you can see at the bottom of the image on the right hand side, and this search box allows you to use their database and actually search for your own surname. So it provides value very specific to you as the viewer. You can search your own surname and it brings up various bits of information about where the name's most popular and what the name means and how old the name is, all from the Ancestry database. And of course, on that page, because everything needs to point in the same direction of the purpose, if you want more information, there are calls to action to sign up for the 14-day trial. So there's quite a lot of value here. There's the value of the information about the 4 common surnames, and then there's the ability to check on the history of your own surname. There's a fantastic amount of value, really well done article actually. And then number 4, create your ad headline. Now, this is important to do now because you've written your content, you know what value it is you're offering, and now you've got to describe that value in a way that calls out your target audience and also makes it attractive. And this is why I've also added and article headline if different, because sometimes you may want to use the same piece of content and have several different versions of the ad headline. And also the ad headline which attracts people maybe need to be different. It may be more suitable if it's different to the actual article page itself. Another key point we were talking about previously is the consistency. Remember, the headlines in the ad and the article don't have to be exactly the same to be consistent. They just have to be about the same thing. Let's have a look at the headline from this article we're looking at. And the article is, "There are 4 common types of German surnames. Which one is yours?" And this is a great article actually, because it talks about the surnames, and then it makes it personal by asking a question, which makes it more interesting to the person reading the article. And it also alludes to the value that they're going to find. They're going to find out about the 4 common types of surname, and then they're going to be able to do a search of their own surname. A fantastic title for the article. Okay, so after you've chosen your title, what do you need to do? You need to pick your ad image and then your content image if different. Again, this goes back to the consistency point we made. The images should be consistent and of the same category, but they don't have to be completely the same. As you'll see in this article, the images are actually the same. They're of this sort of German castle, German chateau, or whatever they're called. And it's an interesting image. It draws the attention. It looks very ancient and old, as if it's on parchment, and so it would attract attention. And it's consistent because they've used the same image in the ad and also in the article. So, what now? You've chosen the purpose, a call to action, you've written the content and provided value, you've picked the title which describes that value and attracts attention, and you've chosen an image which draws the eye and attracts attention. So what next? Well, the last point is just to make sure that you've made it as shareable as possible and your ad as viewable as possible. So I always like to make sure that I add a social sharing widget, because clicks and shares on a social sharing widget mean free marketing, and you don't know how many extra people are gonna see it and how much more valuable it is. And if you're providing a lot of value, as this article does, it provides a hell of a lot of value for people to find out about their history, then people are going to want to share it with their friends, which can certainly lead to a much higher conversion rate. And if we check out this article we've been using as an example on Ancestry.com, you can see that it has a social sharing widget. And that's actually on this page a sticky social sharing widget, so that even if you scroll down the page, the widget stays in the exact same space on the page so that you can always access it to share. And look, this particular version of the page has had 9,429 Facebook shares and 483 email shares. And they have several different versions of this page which are very similar, and each one has 20,000, 10,000 Facebook shares. So that corresponds to a lot of free marketing, and free marketing means free income. That's it for this video. Join me in the next one where we're going to look at how to use headlines to call out your target market.